Standard Time.
'Cause I see you in here that night.
The O'Reilly Factor is on. Tonight, a new terror alert. The U.S. released videos found in Afghanistan of 5 men who say their mission is to die attacking America. Airports across the country have new security rules, but will they really make you safer? And did secrets stolen by FBI spy Robert Hanssen end up helping bin Laden? An explosive report coming up. I'm John Kasich, in tonight for Bill. Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. The Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Fox News Live, I'm Kiran Chetri. Red Cross workers are questioning al-Qaeda and Taliban prisoners being held at the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay. The interviews are voluntary. The Red Cross wants to gauge how the prisoners are being treated. Results of those interviews will then go to American officials as well as the Red Cross International Committee. There are 110 prisoners being held at the base right now. In other news, Bosnia handed over 6 Algerians who were suspected of having terrorist links to the U.S. military. It comes despite a ruling by Bosnia's highest court that the prisoners be released. Most of the men are said to have worked for various Islamic humanitarian agencies. Some violent reactions after Israel's retaliation for an attack yesterday. Palestinians clashed with soldiers in the West Bank after Israeli tanks surrounded Yasser Arafat's headquarters there. Israeli jets also blasted a Palestinian security compound. That terror attack happened at a bat mitzvah last night in northern Israel. A gunman opened fire, killing 6 people, including an American. Police then killed the gunman. In Africa, molten lava is running right through the city of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A volcano started erupting there yesterday, forcing hundreds of thousands of people to flee to neighboring countries. Our next update is coming up for you at the bottom of the hour.
Hi, I'm John Kasich, in tonight for Bill, who's out on assignment. Thanks for watching. Tonight on The Factor, new airport security rules go into effect today. Question is, we're going to have massive delays, and will air travel be any safer? And stunning video out of Israel. A Palestinian opens fire at a bat mitzvah, murdering 6. We'll have the latest on the continuing violence from the Middle East. But first, our top story tonight, a new terror alert. Yesterday, the FBI released videotapes of these 5 suspected members of al-Qaeda who they believe may be planning another attack. American Special Forces found the tapes in a bombed-out terrorist compound in Afghanistan. The tapes indicate that these men were eager to die as part of bin Laden's jihad. With us now is former CIA operative Robert Baer, the author of See No Evil. I'd suggest you get the book, and let me just say to everyone, I want to thank you, and if they knew all the things you did, from going to Lebanon to try to rescue our hostages to your work in northern Iraq, you're a hero, so thanks for your service. What about these tapes?
Thank you,
what about
Brad.
the tapes? Do they scare you? Do you think they're legitimate?
I have no doubt that bin Laden is coming back, and he's going to hit us again sometime, whether it's with these 5 people or someone else. He has the plans in the works to hit us again. A terrorist like this always has a follow-on plan. It's part of the operation.
Well, do you think, are they gathered in very small cells? Do they have the sort of sophisticated network to gather the equipment to inflict great damage, in your judgment?
Absolutely. The cells are compartmented. They don't know each other. They probably don't know each other's names. They're traveling on alias passports, even possibly diplomatic. There could be people in this country, American citizens, part of the same network.
Well, we know they found people in Britain, which appears to be a hub for terrorism. We know they're active in the Philippines. We know they're active now in Singapore. They found them in Bosnia. We find them in this country. How did this network get to be so big? How did we get so far behind the curve in being able to discover their kinds of activities?
We closed down, as a country, and I'm not talking about the CIA, I'm talking about immigration, State Department, FAA, closed down our intelligence capabilities in the 90s. While we closed down, they were building up, putting the networks in place.
When you say closed down, how did the State Department close down our intelligence operations?
They gave visas to every Saudi who asked for one. They was wide open. I would have never given visas to those people. They had no need to be here. They weren't legitimate students. And they got into the United States and they disappeared. And they still can't find them.
What about political correctness? We've heard a lot of the fact that, that a lot of the politicians and a lot of the columnists essentially had power, and they really hurt the ability of people like you to be effective. What's the truth?
Let me tell you a story. When I came back from Iraq in 1995, I was met by the FBI and investigated for the attempted murder of Saddam Hussein. And the charge was Title 18, murder for hire, which is a capital offense. Can you imagine the message that sent through the CIA until today?
Now, you were in northern Iraq trying to help the Kurds to overthrow Saddam. This was in 1995, is that correct?
Yes. Let me just say I was doing my job in northern Iraq.
Okay.
And I did not try to kill Saddam Hussein, but
Okay.
a rumor started, and Bill Clinton ordered the investigation of me and my team.
And when you landed, you were going to be prosecuted.
Yes, for attempted murder of Saddam Hussein.
And you then left the CIA, is that correct?
I resigned in December 1997.
Only to be given a medal.
I was given a medal by George Tenet, yes.
What about Iraq? You know, there's a lot of speculation. Well, we can't go it alone. Is he really a threat? What is your view of Iraq?
Of course he's a threat. He'll come back one day. He's going to invade Saudi Arabia when he has the chance. Saddam doesn't forget. The only problem is we had our window of opportunity, and we didn't take advantage of it.
What would
in the mid-90s.
What would it take to be able to be effective in Iraq? And do you think we should go there at some point?
We're going to have to deal with the problem one way or another, diplomatically or with a war. But we're not going to be able to do it with a coup d'etat now.
What about in Afghanistan? We've got, we're trying to wrap up the Al-Qaeda. We're finding pockets of them. We're finding bunkers that may contain chemical weapons. We're not sure yet. We don't know where Osama or Omar, where those two folks are, those two criminals are. Where are they, and are we going to find them?
Afghanistan's not the problem. It's Saudi Arabia and the Gulf. These are the people that finance these people. This is where they recruit them in the mosques. We're going to have to do something about Saudi Arabia now rather than later.
Will we catch Omar and bin Laden? Are they dead? Or do you think at some point we'll be able to find them and bring them to justice?
I think there's a state protecting them. That'd be my guess.
And which state would you think that would be?
Anywhere from Pakistan to Somalia to Yemen to Saudi Arabia.
Wouldn't it be very difficult for them to have been able to move great distances?
Without state help? With how many, wives and children, 38 people in his entourage, just moved out under the cover of darkness and no one noticed? It's scary.
What about Saudi Arabia? Carl Levin, the senator from Michigan, has said that maybe we should withdraw our troops from there. It seems as though we play a sort of a blind eye towards Saudi Arabia. What is your view? What could we do that would be effective in making it clear to them we mean business?
I would close our bases, leave. They are not helping us with the investigation. There hasn't been a single lead that I've seen out in the press, and there would have been one, that they've arrested anybody involved in the World Trade Center attack, and that is worrisome.
Can we be successful in finding these cells and tracking their money in stopping another attack, in your judgment?
Yes, we can.
What will it take?
Anything from national identity cards to monitoring visas to monitoring the foreigners who live in this country to reinstituting the CIA, rebuilding it back again, which is being done now, I'm sure.
Is there any room for political correctness in the effort to try to beat terrorism?
Of course there is. You can obey the law and still beat it.
What I'm saying, though, is say, for example, at the airports, a lot of people complaining today about what's going on. Is there any room to be politically correct today, or should we just mean business?
We should mean business. We've got to move now because they're coming. I guarantee you that.
What is the likely form of attack?
I think it's going to be a surprise, a dirty nuclear bomb, another airplane.
Mr. Baer, I want to thank you for your book. I want to thank you for your service, and I want to thank you for the American people for what you've done. Coming up next, the controversy over a statue of Ground Zero firefighters in New York City. The faces of the original men were changed to make it racially diverse. We're going to talk about that. And violence erupts again in Israel. A Palestinian opens fire at a crowded party. It was all caught on tape. We're going to have the latest.
can slow down investing. You can stop investing entirely. But you can't stop daughters from falling in love.
Bye, Daddy.
Which is why your Morgan Stanley financial advisor will never let you lose sight of what you're investing for.
Car and Driver rated our Subaru WRX higher than the Audi S4 Quattro and the BMW 330xi in both handling and acceleration from 0 to 60. But in one important category, Audi and BMW did rate much higher. That's the beauty of Subaru all-wheel drive. Test drive the WRX, voted one of Car and Driver's 10 best for 2002.
Fox Wednesday.
You've got style, that's what all the girls say.
The 80s are back in fashion. From the creators of That 70s Show, That 80s Show. A new series premieres Wednesday on Fox.
In the Impact segment tonight, a major controversy over a statue dedicated to the firefighters who lost their lives on 9/11. The statue was originally intended to be a copy of this picture, 3 white firemen raising an American flag over Ground Zero. A man named Bruce Ratner donated $180,000 for an 18-foot high bronze sculpture, and it was going to be put in front of a Brooklyn fire headquarters. But the design somehow was changed, apparently by the New York Fire Department, so that an African American, a Hispanic, appear with 1 white firefighter. But now, after talks with the department, the developer has decided to scrap the idea and just start all over. Joining us now from Washington is Fox News analyst Ellen Ratner, and she is the sister of developer and brother Bruce. Ellen, thanks for being with us. We do have something in common.
Thank you very much.
We're both from Ohio. Ellen,
That's
let
right,
me...
best state.
Yes, although I moved there, you moved away. I'm there, I'm not leaving. Ellen, let's get to this. Your brother decided he wanted to honor the firefighters, so he came up with the sculpture. My understanding was he had nothing to do with the design of that sculpture. Is that correct?
Well, I think what he did is he saw the picture, and he was inspired by the picture, and he went to the New York Fire Department and said, gee, we'd like to do this. And the New York Fire Department was behind it. And I'm not quite sure about this, so don't hold me to this, but it may be that I think the original fire guys originally said that they didn't necessarily want it to be about them, and so they decided to have other people sit for the sculpture, and as long as they were having other people sit for the sculpture, apparently they decided to make 1 African American and 1 Hispanic to honor the racial diversity of firemen and firewomen, although there were only firemen, I understand, who died at 9/11.
Now, Ellen, my understanding of this is that the Fire Department of New York approved the statue. It was the firefighters themselves who objected. Is that correct?
As I understand, those are the facts. Yep.
Now, you put out a little statement about this whole issue, and you said that this sculpture was not designed to be really a replica of that picture, but rather to represent an art rendering. Tell us a little bit more about where you were coming from on that.
Well, yeah, I read a column for WorldNet Daily, and in WorldNet Daily, they asked me to I could write about anything, but I wanted to write about this because as a talk show host, I've been asked a lot about it. And basically, I feel that this was, and the original intention of the monument by my brother, and I think by the New York Fire Department, was to honor the fallen heroes of 9/11, the firefighters who lost their lives. And they wanted to show diversity, and I believe that statues are essentially, they're transcendent. You know, Lincoln never sat on a throne like Lincoln sits on the throne
So basically,
at the Lincoln Memorial.
it was designed to represent all the firefighters. But let me ask you something more troubling. My understanding is that there have actually been statements on the internet that have really abusively attacked your brother, calling him names, and you know, here's a guy trying to put up $180,000 to put up a beautiful statue to commemorate the heroes of 9/11, and what he gets in return is you know, sort of beaten over the head, and maybe a little anti-Semitism rolled in between.
There has been some anti-Semitism. I have gotten, I'll tell you, the emails I personally got today from the WorldNet Daily piece has been just absolutely incredible. And also, just some of the hate email my brother got. My brother said to me, you know, he knows what I do for a living, obviously. I'm his sister. And he said to me, how are you able to stand the kind of stuff that you get? And it's true. I mean, you
Well,
often
tell him
get,
not to
I
run
often get
for office, Ellen. I'll give him a real taste of what that's like. But how's he handling? He's going to go forward and do another project. Is that right?
He is going to do whatever the New York Fire Department decides they want to do. He will support a statue. He will support an art rendering. And he's not going to back down from his full support of the New York Fire Department. And he shouldn't.
Ellen, do you have a little email address where people can send to your brother and thank him for putting the money up and trying to honor people so that he can get a sense that people do appreciate what he's trying to do?
Well, you know something, I don't know his email address off the hand. It's in my handheld, and I don't know what it is, but you can email me, and I'll forward it to him. And my email is Ellen, E-L-L-E-N, @talkradionews1word.com.
Well, I'm just going to suggest to our viewers, however they feel about whether that should have been changed or not changed, it wasn't really his decision. There was even dispute among the New York fire folks, and at the end of the day, the man was putting up some money to honor somebody, and I look forward to whatever that project is, and it will honor the firefighters here, and I want to thank you. Coming up next, new airline security rules go into effect today. We'll get a report from one of the country's busiest airports to find out how things are going, and more evidence of some big-time intelligence failures at the FBI. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Is 106 cubic feet of interior space really necessary? As a matter of fact, it is. Avalon. The most spacious sedan we've ever created.
When apartheid stood in our path,
we overcame it to build our own future.
Now AIDS threatens South Africa's future.
Half of all children under 15 will die
unless something is done.
So we are doing it. We call it Love Life.
It's about love.
It's about help. And it's about life.
You can help fight AIDS in South Africa. To find out how, go to netaid.org.
Town & Country Mitsubishi says you choose. Forget about the down. Forget about the interest. Forget about the payments. 000 on all new Mitsubishis, Monteros, Montero Sport, Eclipse, Lancers, every model. You choose at Town & Country Mitsubishi. Drive home happy.
Hi, I'm Apply here at City Liquidators Furniture Warehouse, your leather connection. Try this retro sofa for $9.99, or mint green sofa, $9.99. Or what about a leather chair, $1.99. Or this motion sofa, $9.99. Or our best deal of all, this Benchcraft 4-piece set, $18.88.
Be sure to check out our huge selection of office furniture, like this oak computer desk and hutch for $148, or this 4-piece computer desk for $248.
City Liquidators saves you money!
Town & Country Chevrolet says keep it simple. We've slashed the prices on all models. Plus, Chevrolet will give you a $2,002 rebate. Save big on all models, from Cavalier to Corvette, from Trailblazer to Suburban. Don't miss out. Town & Country Chevrolet. Drive home happy.
In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, airport security. Today's airports are implementing a new baggage screening procedure that was passed after September 11th. So how are things going? We're going to go out to Chicago's O'Hare Airport, where Fox News correspondent Steve Brown is standing by. Steve, how's it going?
So far, so good, and that surprises a lot of people. A lot of folks coming into today predicted from sea to shining sea at 429 airports across the country there would be all sorts of delay and chaos because of a new federal mandate requiring that every checked bag be checked out in some fashion before it is put on a plane. That largely did not materialize. What we had today was your typical delays in going into a 3-day holiday weekend, and that surprised a lot of folks, not the airlines. They say they were ready for today's mandate of being able to check all of the bags. Prior to today, airlines only had to check 10% of all baggage checks, so a new layer of security at the nation's airports.
Steve, tell us, what time do you have to go to get to your flight? How many hours ahead do you have to get there to make sure you get on?
The same kind of numbers that we were talking about last fall in the wake of 9/11 when America started flying again after the terrorist attacks. About 2 hours is a good rule of thumb. If you're traveling internationally, 3 hours probably would be a better idea. You still have to go through security. You still have to go through the security. You still have to present your ID 3 times before you get on the plane. There are a lot of hurdles, but they are not apparently going to cause any unusual delay, at least not right now.
What if you don't check bags? What if you've got all carry-on? Are you going to be delayed as much as the other person? I never check them, so do I got to get there 2 hours early because I'm going to miss my plane tonight?
Well, you might want to think about getting there as soon as you can. You still have to get through security, and there are a lot of folks that are trying to get through there, too. Also, they're also cracking down, a lot of airlines cracking down on the size of the carry-on that you bring onto the plane. If it doesn't fit the set parameters in that box that you see over by the ticket counter, chances are you may be asked to come back outside the security gate and check it in.
You got Steve, very helpful, and we're looking forward to your updates as we go along in this process. So will the new security measures really make air travel safer? Joining us from Washington, D.C. is aviation attorney Michael Pangia. We've had Michael on before. Michael, are we going to be safer? Are we going to be safer in terms of the amount of additional hassle we're going to have at the airports?
Well, I don't know about the hassle, but when they put this law into effect, they knew that they could not meet the 60-day requirement, 60 days coming up today. So what they're doing is checking bags in a variety of methods. Through the machinery that they have in just a few of the airports, the bomb sniffing dogs and the and hand checking. So it's a variety. Is it safer than it was before? To whatever extent that they're putting in procedures that weren't in effect before, we're safer. Is it adequate? No, certainly not at this point.
Well, what would you want to do to make sure that we get it up as close as we can to 100%?
Well, I commend these deadlines, even as impractical as they are, because they do put fire under people to get things moving, things that should have been done a long time ago. But they are going to put machinery at airports that are going to 100% bomb detect the check-in luggage, but they don't have that now. They're hoping to have it by the end of the year. 2,200 machines have to be ordered, put in place. That requires a lot of modifications at certain facilities. And so we hope to see that by the end of the year. But in the meantime, they're doing the best they possibly can. And fortunately, we don't see very, very many hassles. I think the Canadians that have been bag matching since 1986 have shown us that really it doesn't really require that much extra hassle.
When we look at El Al and the kinds of things that the Israeli airlines, the kind of things that they conduct to guarantee security on their airplanes, are we getting closer to the kind of things that they do? Do we study them?
Probably, but I think in a more sophisticated way. And certainly, I don't think they have the kind of domestic travel. I don't think any country has the kind of domestic travel that we have in the United States. We're very, very mobile here, and the amount of traffic we have, I don't think really compares to the Israeli picture. But we are getting more and more secure. Certainly, this was a wake-up call to do things that we should have been doing a long time ago.
Now, Michael, there's a big issue, of course, on profiling, and I saw in Washington, D.C., John Dingell, who's not exactly a young man who has difficulty getting around because of replaced hips, was basically asked to strip to his underwear. Are we going to get some common sense? I mean, and that's what people are asking for. You know, why check these folks who are clearly not a threat. Could we do a better job of indicating to folks that, look, we're going to use some good old-fashioned horse sense as we conduct these activities?
You know, that's true even in the legislation that we have seen passed. A lot of it is reactionary. It was done in such an extreme hurry that it wasn't thought out as much. And yes, there is a lot of room for the exercise of reason here. We see a lot of reaction. And when you see something like that, it really kind of tells people that they really don't have things in hand, that they're really not sure about what they're doing yet. And I think it's going to be some time before the people at the airport, the screening people and so forth, are going to be able to exercise some reason and proper discretion. Right now, you're going to see reactionary things like this, and it's born of fear.
Well, Michael, let me just suggest to you that there's an Israeli security expert who has indicated to a friend of mine that, you know, you start off, you have a big wide net, but as time goes on and you get better at this, you begin to be able to select the kind of people that you think really represents a threat. And he has suggested to Americans, be patient. We're going to get more sense, and that we will get ourselves in a position where things will work. I take it you share that.
Right, I certainly do. What we see now, you know, this is a metamorphosis that's going to occur. Things are going to get better, more systematic, and I think things are going to move a lot more smoothly.
Michael, thank you very much. Plenty
You're very
more
welcome.
ahead as The Factor moves along this evening. Coming up, new information about convicted spy Robert Hanssen and his dealings with bin Laden. You're not going to believe this one, and more bloodshed in the Middle East. We'll be back in a few moments.
He writes the songs that make the whole world sing.
I write the songs that make the whole world sing.
By special request and overwhelming demand, Arista Records is proud to present this special collection of hit songs, Ultimate Manilow.
Looks like we made it.
Barry Manilow has sold over 60 million records worldwide. Ultimate Manilow is jam-packed with 20 smashes all on one disc, capturing the worldwide magic at one special price. CD $18.98, cassette $15.98, plus $4.95 shipping and handling.
Now you know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you.
Ultimate Manilow includes all those favorites like Could It Be Magic, Even Now, I Write the Songs, Looks Like We Made It, Daybreak, and Copacabana.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Ultimate Manilow is the album you've been waiting for.
I made it through.
More blockbusters include I Made It Through the Rain, Ready to Take a Chance Again, It's a Miracle, Somewhere in the Night, and Mandy.
Well, you came and you gave without taking.
Act now, and you'll receive a limited edition poster free with purchase, featuring all Barry's original album covers.
And tell me, when will our eyes meet?
Barry Manilow, Ultimate Manilow. Don't wait. Order your copy now for $18.98 CD, $15.98 cassette, plus $4.95 shipping and handling. Get the limited edition poster free and know this one's for you. To order Ultimate Manilow, call the number on your screen or send $18.98 for CD or $15.98 for cassette, plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address shown.
This weekend, the way out of this crisis is political and diplomatic, and not through conflict.
Building a lasting peace plan. Could diffusing the India-Pakistan conflict end up backfiring on the U.S.? The inside line from special guest Colin Powell on Fox News Sunday. Check your local listings. Tonight, for fair and balanced news from our nation's capital, trust our Team Washington. Your team on the Hill. Special report with Britt Hume.
In the personal story segment tonight, convicted FBI spy Robert Hanssen. A new book called The Bureau and the Mole reports that the FBI was tipped off about Hanssen's potential spying years before he was arrested. And recently, a newspaper reported that technology given to the Russians by Hanssen had been sold to Al-Qaeda for $2 million, enabling bin Laden to monitor U.S. efforts to catch him. Joining us from Washington is the book's author, David Weiss. David, first of all, your facts. Where do you have your facts in terms of of the information that got into the wrong hands and was so devastating?
Well, U.S. intelligence shows that a very troubling thing occurred. Robert Hanssen sold the Russians a software system among the many things that he did. And in the Bureau and the Mole, what you learn is that an individual Russian, not the Russian government, but an individual Russian sold that software package to Al-Qaeda for $2 million. It made its way into the hands of Osama bin Laden, and it enabled Osama bin Laden to help evade detection and monitoring by the United States. Soon after the terrible tragedy of September 11th, Bonnie Hanssen received a phone call. Bonnie is the convicted spy's wife, and she received a phone call from the FBI. She was mortified that her husband was going to be blamed for September 11th. And the FBI called her to say, we're not going to publicly blame your husband, Robert Hanssen, for the atrocities that occurred.
Let me just say to you that I did some checking today, and Walker, the Navy spy, Pelton, who was with the NSA, Pollard, Naval Intelligence, Ames, CIA, all of whom, along with Hanssen, these are people who frankly committed other sorts of crimes. They raised suspicion, but yet the bureaucracy sort of ignored them. Petty theft, not paying their taxes. This gentleman said that the bureaucracy in the past has been slow to act against people that we suspected. Is that what you found?
Well, in this particular case, let's take it a little further. Robert Hanssen is the most damaging spy in American history. Sold secrets to the Russians from the National Security Agency, the FBI, the CIA, the White House, the Pentagon. And his own brother-in-law, an FBI agent in Chicago, made a very, very difficult choice. And you read in the Bureau and the Mole that he went to the Chicago field office and told his superiors that they needed to open an investigation for espionage into Robert Hanssen. That was in 1990.
And he did it because I understand
more than 10 years before he was.
He knew that
more than 10 years before he was caught.
He knew Hanssen had a lot of cash, and the FBI then took no action. Is that right? They took no action at all.
The information was passed from Chicago into headquarters, and it's reminiscent of what happened before September 11th, when the Minneapolis field office had information that there were people who wanted to learn how to fly planes, but they weren't interested in learning how to take off or land them.
Well, David, you're a good reporter. How could the agency itself have ignored this kind of report? Or how did the FBI not move faster? How is it the CIA didn't know anything about this when this information was floating around?
It's an excellent, excellent question. One of the things that sets this case apart, I think, from all the others is that the breadth and scope of Hanssen's spying went so far that you would think he would have been detected many years earlier. There are three appendices in the Bureau and the Mole: the betrayals of a spy, the emails of a spy, and then the sexual fantasies of a spy. And in his own words, Hanssen explains just how he feels about some of these issues. He evaded detection because he was what I would call low-tech, high-concept. He never met the Russians face-to-face. The Russians themselves never knew who he was. And the Bureau knew since 1994 that there was a big-time mole inside the FBI or the CIA, but they didn't know how to find him or catch him.
Well, David, let me just say this to you. I think we saw this happening in the 80s and through the 90s, and it's unfortunate because these intelligence leaks are so damaging. I'm told that Cheney and Rumsfeld are up to the task of cleaning it up. Let's hope that they are right. I want to thank you for being with us. Coming up next, a Factor flashback. The Enron scandal continues to grow, and Bill is going to be here to question one of the very important persons involved.
Fox News Live, I'm Kiran Chetri. In Afghanistan, U.S. Special Forces continue to clean out pockets of al-Qaeda and Taliban resistance. And the push is on to get illegal weapons out of the hands of civilians. Steve Santani has more now from Kabul.
Afghanistan's interim leader, Hamid Karzai, left for Saudi Arabia today on his first foreign tour as head of the new government. Now, Karzai left Kabul airport earlier today. It was the first official flight of the national airline Ariana since Kabul airport was reopened this week. And Karzai will appeal for foreign aid from Saudi Arabia, which is a co-host of next week's Afghan donor conference in Tokyo. A variety of nations are expected to pledge up to $22 billion for the long term for the recovery of Afghanistan. The new American envoy to Afghanistan said today here in Kabul, the job of rebuilding is going to be long and difficult. In Kandahar, police have begun a major crackdown on illegal weapons. Police were stopping vehicles at checkpoints looking for people who might be linked to Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda network. In one incident, police fired at a taxi that refused to stop at a checkpoint, but apparently nobody was injured. The effort to disarm the people of Kandahar began at 6 a.m. this morning, just after the curfew ended. In Kabul, Afghanistan, Steve Santani, Fox News.
And that is our update for now. We'll be back again coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Kieran Chetri. The O'Reilly Factor continues after the break.
Working hard or working out, nutrition is important. With Centrum or Centrum Silver, you benefit from what science discovers about how the right multivitamins help unlock energy and strengthen immunity. Centrum and Centrum Silver, always complete from A to Zinc.
You ready? You want this? Go get it! It's got to be the dog chow. Dog chow is packed with everything your dog needs to build and rejuvenate strong muscles so he can keep on amazing you day after day. Purina Dog Chow brand.
Big brother, little brother. Car keys, cartoons. Plays in a band, plays in the sand. 6'3", 3'6". What brings these two to the table? Honey Nut Chex. The taste of golden honey and nuts that's sweet, but not too sweet. So everybody likes it. What'll they agree on next? Maybe girls? Maybe in a couple of years. Honey Nut Chex, bringing families together. For breakfast, anyway.
Fox Wednesday.
You got style, that's what all the girls say.
The 80s are back in fashion. From the creators of That 70s Show, That 80s Show. A new series premieres Wednesday on Fox.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
Of course we ought to investigate the collapse of Enron and what happened to the employees and how some of the largest owners of this and the CEO were able to cash out while forbidding their own employees to do that.
The administration is going to continue to pursue this to get to the bottom of any criminal wrongdoing at Enron or anywhere else that could have been involved, and that's through the Department of Justice. The policy reviews will continue, and the administration will continue to be forthcoming in answering questions and providing information. But I think everybody has seen the way this town operates. Washington, D.C. must fully investigate what's taking place with Enron. Washington, D.C. must fully move to protect people's pensions. But if Washington goes down the usual path of partisan fishing expeditions, I think they're going to lose the support of the public.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm John Kasich, in tonight for Bill O'Reilly, who's out on assignment. And in the Factor flashback segment tonight, the Enron scandal. The company fired its auditor, Arthur Anderson, as investigations into the energy giant's collapse began to gain steam. But who is really to blame for the biggest bankruptcy in American history, where regular employees lost their life savings while many in the company made millions? Bill recently spoke with Fox News Channel's business news editor, Neil Cavuto.
Now, Cherry Keenan was here last week and said, basically said, well, it was the individual investors' fault for not going to the SEC website or some crazy thing.
She didn't say that.
Yeah,
I caught that.
Did.
And you were, by the way, very mean to her.
I was mean to her?
Yes, you were.
Was she crying?
Well, I don't know, but I was watching. The gist of it is, obviously, this is a company that obviously had some shaky accounting principles.
Obviously.
But it does go back, and a point I agree with her on is that as you as an individual investor, if you cannot understand what you're investing in and what this company did with energy contracts, then you should do your homework.
Okay. Now, here's why that is a bogus argument.
Why is it a bogus argument? Did you invest in Enron?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Did you know what you were investing in?
Yes, I did, in the sense that I got...
You didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't.
Listen to me for a minute. I got the quarterly reports from Enron. I actually looked at them, and I have them at home.
Before you invested?
No, while I was investing in there, they got the...
This is an important distinction, Bill.
Listen to me for a minute. Will you listen to me?
You didn't have it beforehand.
What a big mouth you are tonight.
You didn't have it beforehand.
Keep quiet. I bought the stock. I got the quarterly reports. The quarterly reports were misleading, as we know now, because Arthur Andersen put out something that wasn't true. Then all of a sudden in the year 2000, they said to me and every other stockholder, we're going to now change our earnings report going back to 1997. They changed the whole thing. None of that was available in their quarterlies or on the website. I'm telling you this was outright fraud, that the individual investor had no chance to know that for 4 years this company was putting out bogus earning reports, and that 3 of their, Ken Lay, Jeff Skilling, and Lou Pei, while the company was declining, and they knew it, were making millions of dollars selling. Now, here's my question. When an insider like Lay sells, how soon after he sells does that come out on the website or in the public?
It can be weeks or months, but I got to get
right.
Bill,
That's
I got it.
right.
You can yell over me all you want.
That's right.
You can yell at me all you want. Bill, here's where you made your mistake and where scores of others did. You bought a stock in a company you did not know about, and you didn't investigate. But by the way, you're telling me now you got these statements as you're investing, whatever the heck that means.
I knew what the company was involved with.
Here's a rule of thumb for investors. If you cannot explain what you're investing in a sentence, don't invest in it.
Right.
I'm not trying to condone what Enron did and what it did, but, Bill, it's an important distinction.
Don't blame the stockholders for this. This is fraud, outright fraud. Now,
Bill,
it's fraud.
you're making a very big distinction here. It's a difference between being a stockholder before you know the fact and after you know the fact.
Don't blame the stockholders for holding Enron stock. It's fraud. For 4 years, they misstated their earnings. That's fraud. Now, people can decide now.
Wait a minute.
But I got another question.
No. Wait, so someone who doesn't know what a company is or just investing because a tip was at a party or something, that person is not doing his job?
That's a different thing. If they didn't know, they didn't know.
That's what you did.
All right, I'm an idiot, okay? But don't blame the rest of the smart stockholders because they put out fraudulent...
Smart and idiot alike were hurt by this.
That's right,
I'm just saying, but there were many smart investors, Bill, who never chose to invest in Enron precisely because
I can't believe you guys do this. I can't believe you guys put the onus on the American people.
No. We're not looking for scapegoats here, Bill. Yeah, there were a lot of improprieties conducted at this company, but what you've said wrong again and again, each and every night I've heard you rail on about this, is ultimate responsibility. You can have government commissions look into this. You can have the SEC look into this. I didn't hear you screaming like this when Lucent was tumbling. I didn't hear you screaming like this.
If there was fraud in Lucent,
wait a minute.
then I want him dead.
When Computer Associates was tumbling.
If there's fraud, I want him dead.
No, wait a minute. Absolutely, and I agree with you. But the fact of the matter is, investor beware. Do your homework.
All right,
know what's going on.
That's fine. I don't believe that the investor can get the information that you need. You just admitted.
Absolutely.
Insider selling months after we know.
If you're remotely confused about what you're investing in, if you don't quite know what energy contracts and people swapping natural gas for oil and all these archaic
None of that was put out.
If you don't, well, that's what the company's about.
But it wasn't put out.
That's what was in there. But most people didn't know what the heck they were investing in.
That's wrong. They didn't put out the little side deals they were making.
Did you know what Enron was about? You know what Enron did? What?
With natural gas and technology. That's what they were
energy contracts. You know what that means or does?
They did not put out, and this will be why these guys go to jail, the side deals that they were making, which were enriching the CEOs at the time they were making them. They did not show up on the quarterlies.
About partnerships that were. That's what's being investigated.
Correct. They didn't put those out, Neil.
Bill, I'm telling you, what's going to happen now in the future is a lot of companies now are going to have their books examined heavily.
We got 30 seconds. Do you believe these guys should go to jail? Lay, Skilling, and Pay, and all of these
We don't know yet.
Do you believe they should, based on the evidence we want?
If they are guilty of lying and deliberately deceiving investors and profiting off deceit, yes, they should go to jail.
Good. How about Arthur Andersen putting out, destroying documents?
If they deliberately destroyed the documents as part of deceit, well, they actually claim that they didn't know that happened until after the fact. We don't know if it's deliberate, but if that's the case,
we don't know that destroying documents is deliberate. What, did somebody just throw them out the window?
We don't know. on, Bill. We don't know yet.
I'm glad you're not investigating this, Neil.
Well, I tell you, Bill, I'm not going to make snap judgments on an investigation that's just beginning, and I'm not here to go ahead and make sure that the Enron executives
But you're
are
happy
saints.
the investigations are taking
I'm
place.
absolutely happy the executive.
All right.
But Bill, be cautious here.
I am cautious.
Because you're making
The
judgments on an
only thing I'm
investment
not
you don't
cautious
know.
about is putting you on this program. Neil Cavuto, thanks very much.
Coming up next, some Somali Americans are calling for a boycott of the new movie Black Hawk Down because they say the movie makes them look like savages. We'll be right back.
Miller, Greg Malcott,
Amy Kellogg,
William Largeness, Steve Harrigan, Fox News International.
We're kicking off the new year with 0% financing at Saturn of Beaverton. Get 0% for up to 36 months on all new cars in stock, including the L200 four-door sedan and the sporty five-door wagon. And come out to see the View, Saturn's first sport utility vehicle, on display at Saturn of Beaverton. Get 0% financing now at Saturn of Beaverton, part of the Russ Auto Group, 1 block east of Murray Boulevard on Canyon Road.
Ready for an experience that's out of this world? Come into Tony Roma's. Our reputation spans the globe, and we're famous for doing whatever it takes to satisfy your craving for the true flavor of the grill. Like the new Ultimate Roma Feast. Flame-grilled ribs, barbecued chicken, smoked sausage, corn on the cob, and coleslaw. All at a special price right now.
Whatever it takes to make it great.
We wanted to take a moment to thank you for being an AT&T broadband customer. You've made the right choice. With the most local channels available, not just a few, 1,400 employees here to serve you at your home and on the phone, and we're part of our community, whether it's volunteering at church, donating $100,000 to our schools, or sponsoring the 4th of July fireworks. While we have national strength, AT&T Broadband is Oregon and Southwest Washington's broadband cable service, and we love being here. Thanks for your business.
Well, Mr. Limbaugh, what has our little agitator been up to this week? Gluing Mrs. Brendel to her chair? Bringing in your sister's underpants for show and tell? Science project took out East Wing? Do you know where smart Alex like you end up?
On the radio?
Rush Limbaugh has moved to News Talk 620 KTLK. News Talk for the Great Northwest.
In the second Impact segment tonight, the film Black Hawk Down is being released in theaters all across the country today. But some Somali Americans are calling for a boycott of the movie because they say it depicts Somalis as savages. Joining us now from Minneapolis is Omar Jamal, the executive director of the Somali Justice Advocacy Center. Omar, thanks for being with us. What's your beef about the movie?
Well, first of all, the contents of the message the movie is sending is really very disturbing, and we up to now couldn't figure out what message or purpose is this movie sending to us and to the bigger society in this country. We've been dealing with the impact of September 11 now, and we've been doing legal counseling and consultation to the people that this war against terrorism is not against all Muslims, it's against a specific group. But now this movie is completely set back, and people are really starting to doubt the gospel we've been preaching to them.
But Omar, this movie is part of history. This is a movie that's been in the works. In fact, I have not seen the movie, but I've read the book. And the book is really about a number of things, but the overwhelming message is the courage, the patriotism, and the commitment of the American Special Forces. That's what it's all about.
Well, actually, it's not what that's all about. The book and the movie is completely different. We attended the screening of the movie. Some of us were there in Mogadishu City at the time this event was happening, and some of us read the book, and it's completely different. And even the book is more close to the factual events of what happened than the movie. The movie is completely confusing and shocking to the community. And therefore, it's completely two different things. Although the movie is based on that book you just mentioned, actually, it has nothing to do with the book.
Well, Omar, my understanding is, and I've talked to our film critic here, Bill McCuddy, and he says all the characters are not developed all that well, but nevertheless, the story's pretty simple. The United States goes in for humanitarian purposes. The mission changes. They try to capture a deed. They go into Mogadishu that day. Helicopters are shot down. Men are trapped. And a great number of Somalis joined together to try to kill the American soldiers. And they were successful to some degree. Where is the distortion?
Well, we completely disagree with that. The distortion is just, you said that the movie basically lacks the background of the events. What is this war is all about? The Americans went there in a very mercy mission that gone terribly wrong. The movie doesn't even say anything about that. If someone goes in that movie without knowing the background and political circumstances surrounding this event, he or she will walk out confused because the movie never talks about anything about that. It's just a bunch of guys hunkered down at the airport in Mogadishu City, and then they go to war hunting for one of the warlord ID. And at the same time, it undermines the casualties of Somalis, which the movie states 1,000 casualties from Somalis. And some people who were there actually have different number than the movie has. So,
well, I don't want to. I can understand your sensitivity, but the fact is that they did go after a deed. That's why they got in trouble, and they didn't have the armor there that they wanted, and the mission sort of changed. But there isn't any disputing the ferocity by which a number of the militia and the warlords engaged in trying to kill Americans over a 24-hour period of time. And some say it was the most violent action, really, some argue, since World War II. So why would it be wrong to portray this? This is not a hit on Somalis or an attempt to try to say they're all bad people. This is what happened in Mogadishu that day. And there was a lot of loss of life on both sides, which is tragic. But, you know, the fact is it did occur.
It did occur. We're not disputing that. The fact that what we dispute here is the way the portrayal of the Somali people in the movie. They're not given any emotional face, any human elements. They are depicted as beasts and savages running around killing whoever they come in contact with. This is actually a mission that gone wrong, and we want the movie to a little bit explore a little background of what this situation is all about. But it didn't do that, and to us, when we watch the movie, we just really very much shocked, and it's true that this is an actual event, this is a true story. However, the movie doesn't portray the fact and the events through the eyes of those who were there. And at the same time, I think the movie directors, all they were concerned is to somewhat make a movie, well, I think.
Mr. Jamal, look, I want to thank you for coming on, and I understand what you're saying. And I would say this, you know, there's a lot we can learn from this, including the fact that the mission changed, and whenever that happens on the ground, there's always tragedy. And in this case, there was a tremendous loss of life involving some, I'm sure, innocent people. Bottom line, though, is I think the movie is about the courage of special forces. I think we can learn from it, and I'm glad you had an opportunity to be here to present your side.
Thank you.
Coming up next, new violence erupts in Israel after a deadly attack by a Palestinian gunman is caught on tape. We're going to talk to the Israeli Consul General when we come back.
We understand. Dreams do not come with expiration dates. Emergencies never check your calendar. And life does not always stick to the game plan. We're Household, and we understand the hopes and financial needs of everyday people. That's why for nearly 125 years, we've specialized in loans, credit, and understanding. Household, helping everyday people, every day.
Do I play sports? Yeah. Fantasy football.
I'm not trendy enough for a trendy diet.
I would count calories, but I'm not very good at math.
I'd like to run a marathon, but it's
It's quite a long distance.
I diet sometimes, but only in moderation.
If these people can lose weight, so can you. A recent study by a major university found that having a bowl of Kellogg's Special K or Kellogg's Smart Start for 2 meals a day for 2 weeks could help you lose up to 6 pounds.
I feel great.
Fox Wednesday, go back in time to the 80s.
When a problem comes along, you must whip it before the cream sets out too long. You must whip it when something's going wrong. You must whip it. Now whip it into shape. Shape it up. Get straight. Go forward. Move ahead. Try to.
From the creators of That 70s Show, a new series, That 80s Show, premieres Wednesday on Fox.
Felix, this TV remote isn't working.
That's no remote control, Oscar. It's a blood glucose meter for people with diabetes. Murray must have left it here last night after the game.
What's it do?
Murray checks his blood sugar level with this, and to stay healthy, he uses the results to adjust his medication, exercise, and even what he eats.
That reminds me of breakfast.
If you have diabetes, learn to test and control your blood sugar.
Tonight, for fair and balanced news from our nation's capital, trust our Team Washington. Your team on the Hill. Special report with Britt Hume. Foxwire with Rita Cosby. Hard-edge investigative reporting. Timely and compelling interviews. Breaking news from the War on Terror. Live as it happens. This weekend, watch the best news coverage on television, period. Foxwire with Rita Cosby. Your world up close in focus.
The second unresolved problem segment tonight, more Middle Eastern violence. A Palestinian gunman opened fire at an Israeli bat mitzvah party, killing 6 and injuring at least 33 before he was killed by police and witnesses. Israel wasted no time retaliating. Warplanes destroyed a Palestinian compound and surrounded Arafat's headquarters with tanks today. Can the peace process be saved after the latest round of attacks? Joining us now is Ambassador Alon Pincus. He's the Israeli Consul General here in New York. Mr. Ambassador, why don't you let the people know what happens at a bat mitzvah? It's sort of like a confirmation, Catholic church, or even maybe a wedding in a way. Is that correct?
Yes, Jewish women who are 12 years old, in a way that's not dissimilar to Jewish men who are 13 years old, are being inducted into the ethnic community, into the religion in a party. It is nothing different than your daughter's or your son's 12th year party.
So it's a great party where people gather to celebrate.
It's a party. It's a party. Nothing more, nothing less. There is a band, there is food, there is dancing, there are girls looking at boys, and there are boys looking at girls. And in the middle of all this comes a maniac and goes on a shooting spree. And you ask yourself, what kind of national aspiration, what kind of political interest could he possibly think he is achieving, or the people who send him, by doing so, except for murder?
Some people would say because it's tit for tat, that the Israelis had just been involved in, I think, the assassination of a Palestinian radical, that this was then retaliation to that. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm happy you asked that question, John, because nothing is farther from the truth than drawing a moral equivalency. And I'm not suggesting you are. I know that the question is being raised. The person that we had targeted for interception, or you want to call it assassination, fine, is a known terrorist with a rap sheet, who's been targeted many times, who we know is responsible for the killing of people. We have targeted him and him alone. Had he been in a party, we would not dare shoot. Had he been with an innocent bystander, we would not dare shoot. If their retaliation, their idea of reciprocity and retaliation is killing people in a birthday party for a 12-year-old, then seriously, we're not talking about the same value system.
There was a speech made in Houston by a leader of Hamas who basically said, I mean, he had the quote, I don't have it with me tonight, kill the Israelis, kill all the Jews. He raised about $270,000 that night at that fundraiser in Houston. How are the Israelis ever going to deal with someone like Hamas that it just says there'll be no peace until the Israelis are driven into the ocean?
We will not deal with the Hamas. We will never deal with the Hamas for the same reason that you will not deal with bin Laden, that you will not deal with the Taliban, that you will not deal with the people who destroyed the World Trade Center and half of a quarter of the Pentagon.
So how do we get stability there? If you got a group that says under no circumstances will we have peace?
Well, first of all, you look, that's a good question. First of all, you look at the current Palestinian leadership and you know that they're going nowhere. And you ask yourself, can we buy a used peace process from these people? And the answer is no. We have to wait for either a new generation of Palestinian leadership or for this leadership under immense, and I welcome that, immense American, tremendous European political pressure to get their act together once and for all. Then perhaps we could put a process back on track.
Ambassador, thank you very much for being here again with us tonight. And that is it for us today. As always, we want to thank you for watching. I'm John Kasich in for Bill O'Reilly. I hope to see you again the next time.